diamond um, all the way around the glass. It wasn't smooth. It was that bumpy, that looks like kind of diamondy, and it looked kind of remind me of. It may have been a perfume bottle at one time. It may have been that, but it was really really pretty. And he had already bought me beautiful red roses, which, by the way, he always bought me roses whenever one of you kids were born. And I remember one time it was my birthday and I was working at St. Agnes Hospital, and I think it was, oh, pretty almost the time of when he was going through cancer. But anyway, it was 24 red roses in this beautiful vase, and the roses were like this. And I had a corner office with glass all the way around, and I'd have people stick their head in. That's the most beautiful bouquet I have ever seen. And I don't know if you remember, but after that, I always used that vase, and I bought fake roses and put them in there. And I have an old-fashioned picture in our bedroom with fake roses. I've had red really roses ever since.
We didn't have a lot of money at that time, so that was really special that Dad did that for you, right?
Oh, it was very special. Yeah. I mean, it was a sacrifice to, but he always did that. He'd always surprise me with a little treat here and there, and so we just were always happy. It wasn't. I don't want to say it wasn't always. We were heavy drinkers when we first got married, and we would have arguments and everything. But as newlyweds, we joined the church, and we learned a lot about how to get along, because both of us had been through a divorce, and we knew that we had to work hard. And here it is going to be April in a couple of days, and it'll be our 49th anniversary. And in August, on his birthday, we will have been together for 50 years. And we had to work hard at it. We wanted to work hard at it. We're naturally happy people anyway, but we had, nobody agrees on everything. So we had to learn to compromise. We did snip at each other sometimes from being overtired, or that usually was it. Early in the marriage, it was due to drinking. And when we quit drinking and joined the church, we had to learn over the years. And eventually, I think it happened when all you kids were gone. We just don't fight anymore.
Financial. I bet a lot of it was financial worry and things like that.
Sometimes, but we budgeted fairly well. We did. We had a lot of debt when Jennifer was born because there was a mess up on the insurance. We didn't realize we had to sign up just immediately when we got married, and so we had her. And we tried to sign up insurance after I was already pregnant, and we couldn't. And I was in and out of the hospital a lot, and so it took us quite a few years to pay off that debt. So, oh, and a funny thing, your dad just wined and dined me all the time. Every time he was in town, we'd go dancing. He'd take me out to dinner. And then when we got married, I found out that he was using his credit card. And he had maxed it out to dine and woo me, and it took me 2 years to pay off that credit card, and I never allowed him money again.
Let's jump back. Okay, so how long were you guys seeing each other before you eloped, and where did you elope to?
Okay. In the state of California, and pretty well all over the United States at that time, you couldn't get a divorce finalized for a full year. Once you went to court, it wasn't final for a year. And so my husband and I had separated in January of 1969, and I went to court in February. And so I had to, and then you have to wait for the filing, and so it's a year from the filing. So I was his blind date for his birthday for August 29th, and that was 1969. And our attraction was so great. Within about a month, we were talking about getting married. But we were a little nervous about it because we had both been through a divorce. So we talked about it a lot, and we talked a lot about why our marriages failed. And because we really wanted to get married, but we wanted it to be a success. We did not want to have the same kind of problems. And basically it was lack of communication. His first wife was a very, very nice person. But there were just some big issues that they could not overcome. And so I think they were married like, I want to say 2 or 3 years. I was married 2 years. So anyway, we didn't want a big wedding. I eloped with my first husband, but he had a big fancy wedding for his first, and we really didn't want to do that. We didn't have the money for it, and we just weren't interested in that. So we went over to Sears and got 2 gold wedding rings for $40. 1970 gold, and it was 14 karat, not the stuff that you get now. And Dad's falls off and he loses it all the time, so he told me to keep it. And I was so skinny when we got married. This ring doesn't fit on this finger anymore. I got huge knuckles from arthritis.
Mom, for a gal in her 70s, you still have an awesome figure for the
Oh,
birthday.
thank you. So anyway, we went to Sears and got our rings, and we'd been planning we were going to elope, and he came down with the flu. And at Greyhound, if you missed more than 2 days, you had to have a doctor's note. So he goes, this is the perfect time. So, because he could get a doctor's note that he had the flu, and he really did. And so the day of my dad's birthday, we drove to Lake Tahoe, and I put a note on his blackboard, went to get married, sorry we missed your birthday party, and drove to Lake Tahoe.
And that's how you told your dad and mom.
Yeah, and got married. And on the way, we stopped at his sister's house in Sacramento, and I think his mom was up there, and they were visiting his cousin up there, and nobody was home but the kids, and we sat around and waited for him, and so, well, they missed out. We were going to